As the clock is ticking, we are mere hours away from ringing in 2025, and it's about 6:40 as I'm recording this, so about 5.5 hours away from the new year. But I thought, now more than ever, it's important to talk about 2024 because what a year it's been. See, I started 2024 mad because I had my parents over last year, and they left around 11. I was like, all right, cool. I got an hour until the new year. It was about 11:45. I passed out, and I woke up at 12:15. And I was like, I literally was just awake and missed the ball drop. Really? It was one of those years. But I'm happy to admit that 2024 has been a beautiful year. I remember sitting on my couch 4 years ago saying, let's talk about 2020. And to know the start of the world going crazy was almost 5 years ago now is wild to me because what a quick time that's been. I've been doing these videos since 2017, at least, videos on the YouTube channel. And how quick the last 5 years have gone is wild, right? But this last year, I think I did a lot of things. In the start of this year, was in a new position at work, not really that confident in what I was going to be able to do, but I'm happy to say a year later, I think I'm very confident in what I can contribute and whatnot. So that was a stress that has kind of been put to rest. For years, I was talking about finally going to London, and this year I did, and it was a beautiful time. I don't think me going to London is a one-time thing. I think I'm going back to England and London at some point this year because I honestly loved it. It was such a beautiful thing. Every year I write down a list of New Year's resolutions because I always say the first thing in making a goal reality is putting it to paper because then when it's on paper, it actually physically exists. And it means I have something to focus on. It's not just a thought in my head. It's a physical kind of to-do list in a weird way. So this year, I put down a lot of interesting goals. The first 6 months of this year, I said no alcohol, right? No beer, no nothing, because I want to finally get back down to 165, and I think I'm going to be doing monthly check-ins at that point of first per se, is what I look like on January 1st. All right, February 1st, this is where we're at. It kind of maybe make a compilation of it at the end of the 6 months, which I believe would be like the first week of July to get through all the months. I want to go back to England this year. I want to get back into acting. I want to go and get back into writing, poetry, my music, stuff like that, the creative side of me. And I think, with giving up beer, it's going to give me a lot more free time to just focus, right? This year, I got down to 178 at one point because I was busy doing stuff. I was keeping myself busy. I built a computer this year for the first time in about 13 years. And I realized in that time how much technology has changed, how many things were similar to, things I used to know, but things that were so different in terms of building that PC, whether it comes down to learning the new graphics cards, how the new processors work compared to, building a Core 2 Duo back in the day. I think this year for me was fantastic because I was able to tap back into a lot of who I felt I was when I was younger, if that makes sense, and go and live those dreams again. Building a PC was something I had been talking about doing for years, but I never felt the full-on reason to do it aside from just a test to myself. This past year, my laptop started really kind of crapping out, and I was like, all right, I'm going to need a new computer. Why buy one when I can finally put myself to the test to see if I can still build one? And I did. I built the channel quite well this year, and I'm happy for that. I want to start building it more going into 2025, do more Cooking with Glenn episodes. There's part of me that wants to do a new episode every 2 weeks. Whether that's going to happen, that's another idea because it's all kind of just a pipe goal, right? I'm going to travel more this year. I went to Hershey last year for the first time in about 20-something years. And it was just cool to finally start getting back out there. Hershey, London, I went to Massachusetts over the summer for work. I've been to Maryland. I've been to Delaware. There's so many places I've been able to see and experience. I don't even want to say a difference in culture, but just a difference in people, right? Because it's all, for me, like an American culture. But when you go to different regions, you just see how different the lifestyle is. And it's something I appreciate, right? I've been to New York City like 4 or 5 times this year, and I finally saw Ellis Island. I finally got to go to the Statue of Liberty. Things that I felt like I probably should have done when I was a kid. But now I was able to finally achieve those things. Got back to learn how to cook. I bought a bread machine this year. I learned how to make bread. I made turkey for Thanksgiving. I made a lasagna for a Friendsgiving. I made prime rib for Christmas for the first time, and it all turned out well. So, excuse me for this cough. As you know, I've been sick for the last 2 weeks, but I finally have the energy to kind of talk. This year was big with cooking. There was a lot of things I think I learned about myself, or at least reiterated to myself of hey, this is who you are. This is what you could do. I think I came into this year with kind of a loss of confidence. I was really not. I think a lot of it came down to work, where not knowing what I could do, right? And I think I came into this year wanting to find myself again. And I named my New Year's resolutions for 2025 the year of discipline, because I think I got back to really knowing what I need to do. Now it's just time of focusing. 2024 for me was a beautiful year because I spent a lot of time with family. My nephew got a Switch for Christmas, so I bought him a lot of games. I wanted to spend this year just bringing a lot of smiles to people's faces, and I think for 2025 I want to start doing charity work again and stuff like that. And it's gonna be a cool year, right? I'm ready to start fresh, especially for those first 6 months. Those first 6 months of eating clean, no alcohol are imperative to set the tone for the rest of the year and everything going forward, because it would show that, okay, I got that discipline that I'm looking for and I can make it happen. Overall, I remember how crazy it was just thinking a year ago. I was playing Spider-Man Miles Morales around this time. I don't know if I beat it on New Year's Day. I kind of feel like I did. But how quickly those 365 days have gone, right? It's wild to me. And everything that I was able to accomplish this year was a beautiful thing, right? And I want to just reiterate that energy going forward for 2025. I want to do more motivational Mondays. I want to build the channel more. I might separate some of I might make separate channels for some of the content, whether it be the gaming. I made a separate channel for cooking with Glenn already, which I'm hoping to try to build once I get that going again. And yeah, overall, I think it was just a very successful year in a different way, because I think it was the most, I don't know if I want to say risk-taking year that I've had in a while, but I think it was the year that I kind of started believing in myself again, if that makes sense. And a lot of great things came out of it, right? 2025, I want to continue that energy. I want to do big things. I said I'm probably done video game collecting for now, in a grand scheme of things, because I have everything I wanted. So when we talk about 2024, it's a year I really can't say a lot bad about, because even in my personal life, not a lot of bad things happened. This year was, I guess, stable enough where I was able to start accomplishing things. There wasn't a lot of stress in my life this year, and I'm hoping that continues, knock on wood, even though this is glass, but whatever. But yeah, those are my thoughts for 2024. Grand year, cool year. Did a lot of things. I have a lot of things planned for 2025. So, as we're hours coming down until 2025, how was your year? Right? Talk to me. What are your resolutions going forward? And what do you think you're going to do to accomplish them? What are the steps you have, placed in front of you to achieve those goals? For me, The rest of the night is sipping on this coffee, trying to stay awake. Maybe playing some video games. But let me know how your year was. Did you accomplish everything you wanted to accomplish? Was your year as peaceful as it needed to be? Leave those thoughts down in the comment section below. As always, guys, stay safe tonight. Think smart. Happy New Year. And I will catch you in 2025.